Family, one of my favorite scriptures is my people perish for lack of knowledge. And then there's another one where they say that if you reject knowledge, I reject you and your children from the kingdom. And I feel like most people interpret this like once we die, if we were rejecting whatever, we can't make it into the pearly gates. But it's like we are meant to experience heaven here now on earth, right? In addition to whatever you go through or experience in the afterlife. So your heaven can be very literally now, right? And if you really pay attention to what the scripture is saying, if you reject knowledge, I reject you and your children, and my people perish for lack of knowledge. Like, think about that, right? Like, knowledge can protect you. So it's so much going on in the world right now. Every time we turn on our phones, it's something we can't eat, it's something we can't do, it's something that's not good for us, is another food or another household item that is being recalled, and people get overwhelmed. People are getting burnt out. People are like, oh my God, another thing, or we might as well just do everything because everything is bad, like, or everything is killing us. And it's like, but the way the Most High works is, if these people are doing these things, knowing this stuff is killing us, and they're still putting it out there, that is God's way of protecting us. One, by having these things finally recalled, okay? And for the exposure, that's a blessing already that is exposed. But instead, we get offended and like, oh, I got to give that up. And it's like, it's killing you. You should be like, oh, thank God they finally caught that, And then on top of that, it's like God said, my people will perish. So you could be getting sick and developing anything just because you didn't know, right? And there's so many people that just don't know any better. But in this time period with technology and with social media, like, everybody is learning a lot more about the way this world works and about the way things are really going down, and how our best interest is not usually their objective or their goal. Their goal and their objective is to make money, okay, to make a profit. So I say all that to say, God is protecting us by exposing these things. God is protecting us by giving us the knowledge, and what we do with that knowledge is up to us. So if you choose to take it and apply it and go, oh, well, let me avoid this because I did read something and it said that this stuff was poisonous, you can take it a step further. You can go and look it up yourself. Like, let me look and see if that ingredient is actually on this. Oh, it's actually on this package. Let me go and look that ingredient up and see what it is and see if it actually is poisonous. Oh, it is? Like, because you could do that too. You don't have to just listen. You shouldn't just listen to people online. Like, you should contribute, right? They've already done the work. They've already given you something to say, hey, this is going on. Now all you have to do is look that thing up. But even further than that, it allows you to protect your family and to protect yourself and those you love by arming yourself with this knowledge, applying the knowledge, avoiding these things, making healthier choices. That leads you into the heaven. So something that could have been developing some sort of sickness or disease in you, or causing neurological issues or long-term health issues, now you've just cut that thing off the list. So that's one less thing you have to worry about. So instead of complaining or being irritated or overwhelmed, I know it can get overwhelming, but family, we are so far away from the way our ancestors and our family and friends and our tribes, rather, we are so far away from the way our tribes used to eat and used to practice and used to just congregate and do things, right? All of the things we're doing now, is not coming naturally from the earth like they used to. A lot of the things that we're putting on our skin is synthetic, okay? It has chemicals in it. A lot of the things we put on our face, ladies, has all kind of chemicals in it, and poisonous and toxic ingredients in it. A lot of the things that we're giving to our children, even some of their toys outside of the food, okay, we know the food is bad. The food is full of junk, chemicals, additives, colors, dyes, preservatives. Like, we know these things now, or we're learning these things. And for those that don't know, May God have grace and mercy on them. But the beautiful thing is these things are being exposed. At some point you have to realize, like, am I just being lazy? Am I depressed? What is it? Maybe because sometimes somebody can get so overwhelmed that they're just depressed with the amount of information. They're just like, whoa, like, this is nothing like what I thought. We didn't grow up like that. We grew up eating whatever and not thinking about the ingredients. Not everybody. I know some people were fortunate enough to grow up a little more aware, but most of us weren't. So the beautiful thing is, that is how God's grace works. Maybe you didn't grow up like that, but you're being taught now. Does it matter? Does it matter if God is giving you the information now? Can't you still apply it? You know what I mean? And that's how you get to experience your heaven on earth. Because while these people over here don't have the information, or while they're choosing to ignore the information, you are over here armed with the knowledge and protected by that knowledge, because you now get to avoid the very thing that's poisoning and causing sickness and disease in someone else, right? So that's how that scripture breaks down. That's how I interpret it. There's many ways to interpret it, but at the very basis of it, like, you get to protect yourself, and then you get to protect your children and your lineage, because now you get to arm them with that knowledge as well, and encouraging them to think, encouraging them to question things, encouraging them to just be proactive with their life, with everything, right? I have to tell my kids sometimes, because I don't feed my kids like sugar and candy and stuff, and because of how my year has gone, I've had to put them in public school and take them out of homeschool temporarily, which, that's another conversation. But they've been exposed to so much more. They've been exposed to kids eating all kind of things, and they're just confused. They're like, Mommy, these things are not good, and these kids are eating this stuff. And I'm like, everybody is different, baby. Everybody is different. We don't eat that. That don't got nothing to do with you, what they doing, and it does expose them, and I think in some ways that can be healthy, but in a lot of ways, I realize that I just have to be more on top of myself and more on top of my ability to lead by example, and explain to them why we don't do certain things, when they're around people doing the exact opposite of what I'm teaching them to do. So I realize now that if we teach our children the right way, sometimes children stray, but they'll come back. They'll come back, because most of us, like I said, didn't grow up this way. But most people I know are making conscious efforts to make some small changes in their lives, whether you just cutting out pork, or whether you just cutting out beef, or whether you're just cutting out dairy or bread. Like, I've seen people that they might not have transitioned completely to plant-based, but they are making attempts to change some of the things that they're consuming, and that matters as well, right? Like, but you also don't want to prolong the inevitable. At some point we have to be accountable, because when we start developing these sicknesses and these diseases, that's when we want to cry to God, right? When God has already given us the information, and we really just need to be disciplined and apply it. But the problem is most of us lack discipline, because we like instant gratification. We want what we want when we want it, and also because it make us feel good. The food, especially food, make you feel good. You release all these love hormones, when you're eating, and people just want to do what they want to do, and I get it. But like I said, my people will perish for lack of knowledge. If you reject knowledge, I reject you and your children from the kingdom. So family, let's make sure we're arming ourselves with knowledge and with wisdom. Let's make sure we're protecting our children by leading by example and showing them, right? Because you can always show them better than you can tell them. They're going to follow what you do, not what you say.